first and foremost by wishing my niece Juniper happy first birthday. My sister, Mrs. Fritz's daughter. There she is. So it's her birthday today. And then thank you to our sponsors for supporting this year's Back to School Breakfast again. MBT Bank, Citizens Community Credit Union, Farmers Trust and Savings Bank, Word of Faith Dominion Church, and David's Marketplace. So thank you, sponsors. And then to introduce myself to anybody who I have not met yet, my name is Cassie Johnson. I'm the Lake Mills Chamber Director here in town. I've been doing it for like 7 years now, so I've done about 6 or 7 back to school breakfasts, and it still remains one of my favorite events that we do. But as a kid, I also loved going back to school, so it's just an exciting time of the year, I think. So, but I also want to introduce my board of directors, which is built up of chamber member professionals. So our president is Crystal Tho, who is with the ABCM Corporation, which is the Care Center and Assisted Living, Mills Harbor Assisted Living. So that's Crystal. And our vice president is Luann Schulbrock, who is with Koloff Digital. And treasurer Angie Thompson, who is with WCTA, and she's in the back there. And then our other board members, Heather Yeoman, Uptown Fitness and Yoga Studio. David Taft with MBT Bank. And Kathy Bernhard, WIA Winnebago Insurance Agency. Jackie Viella, who is with Don's Motor Mart and Dave's Auto Service. And she's usually hard at work right now, but we got her for the morning, so. Jackie Olson with the Lake Mills Library. I'm not sure if she's here today. And then Jenny Spain with David's Marketplace. So those are our board of directors. And then I'd also like to thank Ruth Ann Willier, who baked the cinnamon rolls and caramel rolls fresh this morning. So we are going to leave leftovers. Yes, delicious. Right? We are going to leave leftovers. I think at the central office is where we leave them. So if you want another one, you can nab it there. And then also to David's for preparing our fruit and Swallow Coffee House for the coffee. So thank you for all them. And they helped us get this event going. And as we get started with our program, I just want to take a few moments to express our gratitude for all that you, our school, its teachers, administration, and staff do for our community. Within these walls, you are helping to build an environment full of creativity, energy, and purpose, and that seeps out into the Lake Mills community. You are fostering friendships and aspirations. You are molding the people we hope will one day return to Lake Mills to build their careers, start their own businesses, and to raise their families. It's a hard job. And I, along with the rest of the community and the chamber, am grateful for all your hard work. Thank you for being role models to these kids, for lifting them up while also challenging them to reach their goals and build important skills. Thank you for providing a safe place for kids to be kids, and for nourishing their minds and their bodies, and for being a friendly face in the sometimes scary world for young adults. The school is a lifeline between the past and the present, between family and community, and it keeps everything connected. So thank you. To all of you for your dedication to our staff, or to our youth, and to the community. We wish you a fun and fulfilling academic year. And I will now invite Pastor Randy Baldwin to come up and share a greeting from La Mama, followed by Superintendent Rugney, and to introduce our alumni speaker.
Good morning. I've been so excited to be able to be here with you today because usually I'm on vacation, so it's been about 6-7 years since I've been able to be here. So I'm glad to be here with you to be able to celebrate. Like any of the La Mama pastors, if you could stand up and tell us your name and what parishes that you serve.
Father Andrew Marr, I serve St. Patrick's right across the street.
Yeah, you guys. Pastor Bill's here.
Pastor Bill Peters, Morning Christ Lutheran Parish.
Anybody else? They didn't see? Okay, well, we are the pastors of some of the pastors of your community. We're here to support you all year. So I'd like to share just a verse from Scripture from Apostle Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of service, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it is the same God who activates them all in everyone. You've been blessed with your gifts and talents to help our students discover and grow in their gifts and talents. Let us pray. Lord, we give you thanks for the administrators, the teachers, the staff, the cafeteria workers, the janitors, the bus drivers, and all those who give their time and talent to help teach our children, not only in passing on knowledge, but also helping to shape their character and values in partnership with parents and family members and pastors and members of the community. We live in a divisive and broken time in our society. Empower this team to help each student feel appreciated and help them to overcome obstacles in a way that builds confidence and strength. Give the administrators and teachers the wisdom, patience, and peace to overcome the obstacles and problems they face to help our students to grow and learn. We give you thanks, Lord, for all these men and women who devoted themselves to helping our students to grow in knowledge, in character, in courage, and in peace, knowing that all of us care for them. Let each administrator, teacher, staff, cafeteria worker, bus drivers, and all helpers know that you are always walking alongside them. Bless this school year with your guidance. Amen. Have a blessed year.
Thank you, Pastor Andy. Thank you, Cassie. My name is Chris Rogney. I have the privilege of serving Lake Mills as a superintendent, and right now I have the privilege of announcing our featured speaker this morning. April Zobel graduated from Lake Mills School in the spring of 2001. During her time at Lake Mills, April participated in several different sports and activities, her favorites being basketball, football, cheerleading, not football, but football cheerleading. They say that's why grammar's important. It's speech club. I should have been in that probably. Yeah. April graduated as a member of the National Honor Society and received the Chris Peterson Scholarship. After high school, April studied at Simpson College, where she received a Bachelor of Arts degree in Corporate Communications and a minor in Sports Administration. April is currently Profit Center Manager, Export Containers for the Anderson Incorporated, a diversified agricultural company conducting business across North America in the grain, ethanol, and plant nutrient sectors. Zobel co-manages the company's grain and feed ingredient export program, a program that exports 80,000 TEU annually. She joined Anderson's upon the company's January 2019 acquisition of the Lansing Trade Group, one of the largest U.S. agricultural exporters. Zobel began her logistics career in 2005 with DHL in Des Moines and subsequently worked for Netflix, Machinery Link Logistics, and Tootin USA. She joined Lansing's export program in 2013 and currently sits on the board of directors for the New York Shipping Exchange. April is regularly asked to speak at industry conferences across the country as an expert in the logistics sector. She currently resides in Overland Park, Kansas, where she also sits on the executive board for the Downtown Overland Park Partnership Board. In her free time, April likes to garden and travel. Her goal is to visit one of the new Major League Baseball baseball ballparks each year. April has friends and family who still reside in Lake Mills and stated that the community holds a big piece of her heart, saying, "Lake Mills is a place that will always be home and a place that lifted us up when we needed it the most." Please join me in welcoming April Zobel to the podium.
I really enjoyed my time playing football here, Bill. You taught me a lot. So, thank you. I know. QB1, Pat Mahomes has a lot to learn. So, well, I think you've all heard enough about me now, so I will be done after that incredible introduction. If you didn't hear, I'm April Zobel, born and raised Lake Mills, Iowa. And I would like to welcome my guest speaker. It is my nerves, so give them a warm welcome. I speak at a lot of industry events, but none of them are in front of faces that, taught me or stood by my side through a lot of activities throughout my life. So Mrs. Erdahl, Don't count the ums, the okays. When I lose where I'm at in my papers, just forget about it, okay? I will do you proud, I promise. So, being that we're here to celebrate a new school year, I had come up with an outline of what I wanted to say today. I wrote it out, I did bullet points, and then I decided that I would just maybe reach for something that we all knew, lurch. And then I thought, well, that is way too easy because you probably don't care about lurch, or you've already had it in your curriculum and you don't want to talk about it anymore. So I moved on from lurch, and I thought I would just tell a little story about where I am now, and then thank a couple people who helped me create the success that I enjoy today. So I would like for us all to get in our time machines and go back to 2001 when Matchbox 20 and Destiny's Child were on the Billboard charts. Some of our favorite hits were the OG Fast and the Furious, Vin Diesel for life. One of my favorites, Save the Last Dance and Castaway, also ruled the box office. So 18-year-old April Zobel left Lake Mills, and she went to Simpson College. Why Simpson, you say? Well, because at 18, leaving Lake Mills, it was really scary to think that I could succeed in a big school, because I grew up in a small community and everybody knew my name. I worked at the grocery store and I knew what your favorite milk was and what kind of cottage cheese you bought. So I thought I would go to a small school where I could feel comfortable and enjoy it and get involved right away. So I chose Simpson. It was a small campus. I dove in head first. I was a football cheerleader. They didn't let me join the team. I don't know why. No, I didn't get a scholarship. I worked for the newspaper. I became an editor my senior year. I joined Tri Delta. I was an RA for 3 years. And I had a ton of friends and then made local community friends who offered me internships and other positions. So, like I said, I graduated in 2005 with a degree in corporate communications, minors in sports admin, and marketing. And I thought for certain I wanted to be in PR for a sports team. It was until I learned that you were going to work nights and weekends. And I took a hard pass from that. And instead worked at a bank, which was some weekends, no nights. I had become friends with the local president of a small local bank, and he knew that this was going to be just a placeholder for me until I found my next position in life. So I worked in the bank for 6 months until my brother, Brandon, my older brother, called me and said, hey, there's an opening at DHL. He goes, I don't know if you're going to like it, but I'm working there currently, and I love the company. They pay pretty good. Maybe you should check it out. So he was working in Cedar Rapids at the time. I interviewed for the Des Moines position. It was a PM soup job. And I got the job. So I started in October of 2005, 22 years old. And I walked in, and it was a dock. It was like this big, and it was 60 route drivers that came in and dropped their packages. And I was in charge of making sure our aircraft left on time, our trucks left on time. And to a 22-year-old girl, that might seem incredibly intimidating. And it was, but I found I was really good at it. I could tell people what to do, so that was fun. They had to listen to me, which was even more fun. But it was fast-paced, and I got to make decisions, and I really had nobody to answer to because I was the person who was in charge that day. And the only thing I had to answer for was when the aircraft left late, and you didn't get your package the next day. So I enjoyed success pretty early there. In 2007, I was promoted to the station services manager, which all that meant was I was in charge of all of the Iowa facility for DHL. Every package that came in had to go out on time. If it wasn't delivered on time, I was responsible. And I learned, probably on my way out, that I was one of the youngest females to ever hold that position. And that was pretty exciting. And it really gave me this opportunity to think that I could be more and do more. So I loved that position. And then we as Americans said, we like FedEx and UPS, and we're not sure about this DHL thing. And so DHL started shutting down service centers. And that was pretty scary to me. So I made a leap, and I went to a really small company, not many of you might know, but it's based out of California. It's called Netflix. It's small. I worked there before anything was streaming. We were actually ripping open envelopes. And so it was a short journey in my trajectory because I found out it was operation. I was fixing machines with Allen wrenches, and I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, well, this is not for me. So thank goodness I had earned a lot of respect from some people at DHL, and the vice president called me and said, hey girl, I have an opportunity for you. I need you to come to Kansas City, and I need you to work for this company called Machinery Link. And I didn't like my job at all, so in 9 days, my family came to Des Moines, they packed me up, they put me in a trailer, and I moved south, and I haven't looked back since. So that was 2000, oh gosh, what year was that, 2009? This is where I lost track. Yeah, we're getting there. You're still waiting? Good. In 2009, I was right. I took a job with Machinery Link. And that's a place where it got me back to my small town farming community roots. Machinery Link owned and leased combines across the U.S. So I worked in the transport division, which meant we owned the combines and we had to get them to harvest across the U.S. And I was a glorified dispatcher. It was super fun talking to truckers about their pay every day. April, you routed me this way. I didn't. You stopped at the wrong gas station. I'm super sorry about that. It was a really fun job. I learned a lot about entrepreneurship. All of these route drivers were independent contractors, and I had to help them make a living. And so we had to give them the miles that they could to sustain their business. So it was a really exciting time. I was there for 2 years. But being a dispatcher didn't have a lot of appeal for future growth. And there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me to grow at that company. So along with my vice president, we started looking for a new position for me. And that's where I land at Teuton, which is a French-based trading company. And there I was their logistics manager. Basically, what happened at that company was we traded grain from the US to Southeast Asia, China, and my job was to make sure once we traded it, I got it where it was going. The highlights of Teuton were I got to go to Singapore for 3.5 weeks, which was this incredible opportunity to travel globally. I got to go to Malaysia, I got to go to Thailand, I got to meet our buyers, I got to go to several of the ports that we were working at, and it was a great opportunity to learn that I could impact a global scale of a business, and I could meet the people and understand why they needed the goods that we were trading. So I was there for 6 months, I think, after my stint in Singapore, and I came home, and a company called Lansing had been calling me nonstop about coming to work for them. It was very intimidating. Lansing was a leader in the business. They moved 12x what we were moving at Teuton, and he said, we want you to come run this show. And I thought, I guess I'll give it a whirl. The salary sounds nice. So in 2013, I moved over to Lansing. As we heard earlier, the company Lansing was bought out by the Andersons in 2018, and my position hasn't changed at all. We've just grown, actually. So at that time, I was doing all the logistics and the freight buying. And so now today, I have been promoted to Profit Center Manager. But I need a little audience participation to kind of explain what I do today, because I get asked that a lot. April, what does a Profit Center Manager mean? So first, let's figure out what I'm doing. By a show of hands, who has seen the 2013 film Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks? A fair amount, hands down. Who last year saw the TikToks of that big ship, the Ever Given, that was blocking the Suez Canal? That was really fun for all of us. So what do those things have in common? Anybody? Big ships, right? Big ships. In Captain Phillips, it was Maersk. That was the big company that owned that vessel. In the Suez Canal, that was Evergreen. I do business with both of those companies. So think about those big ships. Now think about on the highways that are coming down, you see those containers. I put grain in those containers, and I put them on a ship, and I send them to Asia. Not me physically, but that's what our business does. So in the simplest of terms, I manage a business that trades grain. We originate it in the U.S. We buy it from several local elevators, transload facilities, and we have a team of 13 people that somehow manage to move 80,000 TEUs, which are containers, those small containers, on an annual basis. We do all of the export documentation, so that means we try and make sure that we have to get paid, present the export and customs docs to our buyers, who then, once they receive the goods, tell us that everything was okay, and we move on with our business. I buy all of the ocean freight for the company, so I get to call Maersk and say, hi, this is what I'm going to pay for this today. And that's a pretty exciting time right now, when all of those containers are stuck somewhere and you're not getting your furniture or your shoes in a timely fashion. So somehow we've survived the supply chain crisis of 2020, 21, and 22. So we're doing well. To wrap up what I do, I thought a few sexy numbers about my business might be entertaining. We are the 16th largest exporter of containers in the United States. We move the 16th most containers among everybody who's exporting cargo today, which is pretty cool. We're the 3rd largest ag exporter, number 1 being DeLong, number 2 being Schooler Company. Then it's us. In the last 2 years, we've originated the commodities of soybeans, corn, meal, wheat, DDGs, and all that business has been originated or loaded into those containers in 18 metro areas at 56 unique locations. And I have a team of 13 people that do that. So that feels pretty cool. In the last year, we have had 175 unique buyers, and we've traded into 18 different countries. And for all of my farming friends out there, we traded and executed 14.4 million bushels of soybeans in 2021. So it is a really fun time. I like to think that I've carved out a pretty cool space for myself in the industry. mostly as a woman, but working in two male-dominated sectors, agriculture and shipping. And it's been a really big gift lately to get to spend some time mentoring young women who enter the market. But a lot of that has come because I've been awarded this opportunity that I think is the coolest part of my career, is serving on a board for the New York Shipping Exchange. I won't get into details about what that does because it's very industry oriented. But what it means is I get to travel to New York 4 times a year and spend time meeting new people. And I have a mentor who used to be a partner at Goldman Sachs, and that has been really a gift to learn from somebody who had a sign in her office that said, "I am not your darling." And that has taught me a lot about what I do. So now we know who April was from 18 to current, and now I thought I would maybe take a journey back to my Lake Mills days and share a few stories with you. I hope that there's a couple people in the room who are a little nervous. Not looking at you, Jim, at all. I was thinking about my career here at Lake Mills, my time spent, and 3 words kept coming to mind: respect, trust, and community. And those 3 words are examples in my next couple stories where they all collide and kind of help shape me to who I am today. And those words ring true in how I've endured some good success. So a story that I knew I had to share is probably not one of my greatest achievement, but actually some grace in the face of failure. So entering my junior year, I made the decision to not play volleyball or softball. And at the time, I justified that decision by saying, I need to work and not play sports. This is not true, by the way. I didn't need to do that. But if I'm being honest with myself, 23 years later, I was not willing to put in the work that Jim Beamer required. I don't know if you guys know this, but he sets a really high bar. And so instead of meeting that bar, I decided that I would just quit. And there's a really great lesson that Jim taught me, and it has lived rent-free in my head for 23 years. He showed respect for me, and it wasn't by the words that he said to me when I said, I'm not going to play volleyball this year. And he said, I wish you would change your mind. I said, I'm not going to. And he goes, okay, cool. And I walked out, and I thought, wow, well, that wasn't as difficult as I thought. He said, I will still support your decision, or some words to that effect. And the words really aren't what is important today, because I think whatever he would have said would have been fine. But what Mr. Beamer demonstrated was his attitude towards me never changed. His engagement never wavered. He didn't look down on me or treat me with any less respect. I really wish this story ended with me going out for volleyball my senior year and crushing that bar, but it doesn't. Instead, it ends with me being 39 years old and still remembering the kindness, grace, trust, and respect Jim showed when I chose a different path. He doesn't have to live with regret of walking away from 2 sports that he loved. I do. But in the place of regret lives a much bigger lesson. He taught me that there is safety in trusting those who set high bars for you. Those people will be there to support you when you falter. So that lesson lives today. I work at a high-pressure, high-expectation job. With great risk comes great reward. And in my business, I have to create a safe place for those people who work for me, and I have to set very high expectations. And that lesson that Jim taught me was that you have to allow a place for them to fail, but support them and help them rebuild themselves. So I show up every day, and I give them the respect they deserve for their honesty. Lake Mills High School, and Jim taught me that. That's how you lead, and that's how you give respect and create a safe place for success. The next story is one I'm certain Jim Schulbrock can tell much better than I can. The details are incredibly fuzzy because at 18, you don't think that a small moment in time will have lasting impact on you, so you let the details fade. But for some reason, that lesson impacts your life in ways you never expected, until you have to quantify it when you're preparing remarks for a day like today. So first I should share that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I had the opportunity to serve on a call committee that brought you here to Lake Mills once upon a time. So I'm very thankful that our board and administrators said yes to that, because I know that you have changed the lives of several hundreds, thousands of kids and faculty, specifically mine. So we didn't have as much time in school as I wish I would have. I was a senior your year coming in. But I want you to know that you may have taught me the most important lesson that any administrator ever has. And it's a story that you're not going to like. The story goes like this. Mr. Schulbrock comes to town and he says, hey guys, I'm here. We all think, oh, he's a cool guy. That's until homecoming comes along when he says, kids, I'm going to ruin your lives. Your homecoming traditions are the worst, and you don't get to have a jersey auction. What? We lost our minds, and that's how it went. That's it. Like, are those the details? Did I get that right? Yeah.
I wasn't trying to ruin your life.
You absolutely were. Yeah, you told us our koozies weren't good. We had to burn those. It was just it was a hard year. It was a hard year for us. I'm glad you corroborated my story, but I said the details were fuzzy. So what I think is most important is that did happen. That is real. But instead of saying, this is the rule of law and I am here and I'm telling you what you do, Jim welcomed a conversation. And I believe Shannon Bjelland and I sat in your office with you one day, and you told us why. You let us tell our whys as to why we wanted to have it. And again, I don't know what happened specifically, but I know we had a jersey auction that year. And I know there was a compromise. And I know that we conversed for quite a while about how we were going to make that happen. So that sounds like a really simple story. Jim ruining everybody's lives, but then saying, it's okay, you can still do it. But there was one word in there, and that word was conversation. He welcomed a conversation with Shannon and I. He laid out his reasoning. He gave us the opportunity to do the same. Sounds pretty simple, but it's really not. That interaction as an 18-year-old is something that I look to today as a foundation for my success. Jim was somebody who had great power, and he demonstrated that power and authority are not scary. He gave me the confidence in myself at 18, that now lives to 39, to tell me that I belonged in a room where there was power and authority. Because men, women with power, can demonstrate that you belong there. He showed me that my voice had value and that power and authority were not to be feared. They were to be respected and trusted and given great consideration. I have challenged many leaders in my career. I do that on a regular basis. But I do it with respect because that's what was shown to me. And I garner respect in return. That foundation has allowed me to sit on a board of directors that is comprised of 10 very successful men and walk in without the nerves that I have today. And it's allowed me to be incredibly successful. All because once upon a time, at an impressionable age, Mr. Schulbrock modeled authority and laid a brick that I didn't know would be a part of my bedrock. So thank you. I could spend, yeah. I could spend another 20 minutes up here talking about the impact that Lake Mills has had on me and its students, but I won't because you all have things to do. But I want to talk about community because I said that was one other thing that really Lake Mills left me with. The community of Lake Mills is much like a small town in a Hallmark movie. I think Mom has watched plenty for me to know that. Everyone in this town, the staff, faculty, administrators, community members, you all show up without question to events, to fundraisers. You bring food and paper plates to people's home when they need you the most. A former superintendent plays Wordle with 2 of his grads every day. A 5th grade teacher greets you with hugs whenever she sees you. That makes you feel very welcome. The high school nurse is your biggest cheerleader. Your favorite high school English teacher becomes a dear friend. This is Lake Mills. This community I've made my mark on, I have made my mark in the industry by forging strong relationships. The CCO of the Port of Charleston said to me, April, your superpower is the ease in which you make lasting friendships. And I can't say that I earned that by myself. I earned that by walking through these halls and in this community. This community has stitched me up one small thread at a time. As a child, I was given the best education. As a teenager, I was given a voice. As an adult, I was carried by a town when great loss entered our lives. I am so grateful and thankful to everyone in this room because you are giving kids that enter these doors the same opportunity these halls gave me. I hope this year you get to see the impact you have on students that you encounter, and you will forever hold a place in their hearts. Your preparation and dedication are often overlooked and taken for granted. I hope today you feel some sense of appreciation and support by this community and by me. Thank you.
April, thank you. That was well said. In my very short time here, which is about 6 weeks, a person can walk the halls here and meet people in the community, and they can, I can feel that, okay? And for our new teachers that are coming in, and some you'll hear have been here before, and they're coming back to experience it. It's a very special thing, and I'm very glad to be part of it and help keep this going forward here. So April, thanks for sharing those thoughts, and we wish you all the best and continued success in the future. And come back and visit too. Some new staff here this year joining, in no particular order here. I'll just say just a little bit about them and the position that they're teaching. Please stand up and so we can put a name with the face and we can get to know each other a little better there. So Dawn Bodenham is going to teach secondary family consumer science. She's previously taught in Mount Pleasant, and she is a Lake Mills graduate. So welcome, Dawn. Maddie Brandt will join us as an elementary learner assistant. Previous to here, she's worked at First Citizens Bank as an operations specialist. Brittany Christensen is going to teach middle school science and communications. Previous to teaching, she worked in radio broadcasting and marketing and also taught at North Iowa, and is also a Lake Mills graduate. Grant Deacon is a middle school social studies and communications teacher. He grew up in Clear Lake. He's an Upper Iowa graduate, and this is his first teaching position here at Lake Mills. Cassidy Frana, who teach high school math. Cassidy's from Kelmer, Iowa, and is a Central College graduate, and Lake Mills will be her first teaching position. Kathy Getzke will teach secondary special education. She worked in the business sector for 15 years and decided on a career in teaching after a good experience substitute teaching. Kelly Helgeson is a secondary special education teacher. She taught for several years in Michigan and Minnesota and has recently taught in Northwood. Welcome, Kelly. Brody Riles will teach secondary industrial technology. He's a graduate. Looks like he's a familiar face. Graduate of Lake Mills. Taught at Owatonna for a couple years and also worked at Larson's here in Lake Mills. So that's our new teaching and learner assistant staff this year. And like I said earlier, my name's Chris Rogney, and I guess I'm also a new person as superintendent. And oh, Maddie, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Madeline Dolman, stand up. I had you on the list and everything. I should have checked it off. Secondary Ag Education and FFA advisor. And Madeline's an Iowa State graduate, and Lake Mills is her first teaching job. Madeline, I'm so sorry. So, like I was saying, so I'm kind of new here, and so far people have been really forgiving when I make mistakes like that, so I appreciate that. I know that doesn't last forever, and that's okay, okay? And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I want you guys to hold me to here, and I'll be really quick with this, I hope. But one thing that comes up in conversation as I've been able to meet many of you is kind of, people are sometimes really direct with it, so why are you here? And they really ask that, and both meaning right here in Lake Mills or why a superintendent and things like that. And I feel like I want to provide some, maybe a little bit about me, that why am I here, okay? And a big part of why I'm here was the feeling, and what I learned about it is exactly what April talked about. Knowing that that's a special place and a special school, and you want to be part of stuff like that as an educator. So anyway, I'll go back here. I grew up in a family that valued education. I was the first one in my family to go to college. I didn't pay for lunches growing up. I didn't know what that meant. We always had everything we needed. I remember from a very young age, my grandpa was a school bus driver. So when we got to go to Grandpa's house and sit in the seat of the school bus, that was a thrill for any real little kid. My grandma worked in a school lunchroom at the Turkey Valley School as a cook. And I didn't really know what that meant until I was still a young kid at this time, and I think we attended her retirement get-together at the end of the year, where I learned that in something like 17 years of working in the school there, she never missed one day of work. And all these things, I didn't think of it and put it together at the time with things, but being around some of that stuff and seeing people, how they can serve, I think led me into education. That and some teachers that I had, teachers and coaches that gave me some confidence and a boost when I needed it. And all of our teachers here, they know, and we talked about this with new staff a couple days ago, that you play that role in people's lives, that can give them encouragement and they can lead them to where they are today. My first job in a school was in a custodial department. I was summer help, carting stuff around, moving things in a room, out of a room, around waxing and pulling weeds and all that kind of stuff. So I have appreciation for that, of what goes into that part of it. Like I said, Oakley Natvig was a social studies teacher and coach of mine. He's a person that I remember this distinctly. You could not walk by the hall without him greeting you. It's kind of a game sometimes. Don't see if I can sneak by Mr. Natvig without him noticing me today. You couldn't do it. Always a good morning. Always a how's it going. Always a comment about something. And honestly, there's some days in school that you needed to hear that from somebody, and that made a big difference. So I strive to be like that. I don't always get it right, but he made a big impact on me, and so I want to try to do that. So I went to Waldorf College, Wartburg College. I did like playing baseball. I had a chance to do that. That taught me some time management skills and some other things that, and I still enjoy baseball to this day. But all that stuff led me into working in a school. So why a superintendent? At no time in my life when I was a young kid did I say, I want to be a superintendent. Really even I probably didn't decide to be a teacher, an educator, and a coach until I was probably about a junior or senior in high school. And just as my educational career started as an elementary PE teacher, as a secondary PE teacher, worked in some small schools where they said, hey, we like you so much, we're going to offer you this too. And it was a trick to get you to do something nobody else wanted you to do. And so I coached a lot of sports and advised many clubs and different things like that. And early on, I spent a lot of time in a school, just a lot, because I didn't have anything else to do. So I was always there in the morning till late at night, and it kind of became what I have been about. And so I taught PE at a time where I made kind of a career shift, working in an alternative school, and that kind of shaped my my educational philosophies of we got to find ways to meet all kids, and all kids don't learn the same way the same day, and that was really rewarding. Somewhere along the line, I said, well, I'm going to further my education formally, because I'm an educator. Not that you have to go back to college to keep learning, but there's a lot of ways to keep learning. I did that and went on to get the principalship license, and I served as elementary principal at West Fork for a couple years. Then had the opportunity to go be a 7-12 principal at Howard Winnesheek, which is in Cresco, and I did that for about 7 years. During that time also it was, well, it's time to be a learner again, a formal learner, and I went back and to UNI, and which means you sat in front of a computer screen and took Zoom classes to be a superintendent. And I did that with no real goal at the end of it, just to do it and have the opportunity to say no, maybe someday. Not have a regret that I should have done this or if that. And so I finished that program up, and I had some ideas of the type of school and type of community I wanted to be part of, and Lake Mills checked all the boxes. And I thought, well, this is going to be an opportunity I need to pursue. And I thought I'd pursue it, send an application in and not hear a thing back, and then, well, hey, I tried and I knew, and it wasn't meant to be. And there's quite a process to get here with different types of interviews and writing prompts and this and that and different things like that. And as I went through each one and as I got to know more about the school and the community, I thought, boy, there's a lot of good things going on here. And it lines up with my values and beliefs, and so I'll keep moving on to the next step. And I kept thinking maybe a door's going to be closed, and it's, then I would know. And the doors kept opening. And then I came here on campus and met a bunch of people, and I'm like, wow, this is, this is everything they say they are, and it's everything I've read about. And for those of you that have been in a lot of schools before, you can walk into a building, and it doesn't have anything to do with the brick and mortar, but you can walk into a building and there's a feeling, okay? And I think some of you, I see some heads nodding, some of you know what I mean. And when you come in here, you know it, okay? And so anyway, when you get the call to come work in one of the best school districts in Iowa, that's an opportunity a person doesn't turn down. So I'm really humbled and honored to be here. With me is my family. So I'll say this: we live in the suburbs of Joyce and Lake Mills. We We moved in just a few weeks ago. It's a few miles north of Joyce, a few miles east of Lake Mills, and it's been really fun settling in and calling this home. My wife Courtney's an educator. She's working in a neighboring district. I got three children, Bree, Newt, and Leaf. Bree's a senior, Newt's a 9th grader, and Leaf's a 7th grader. And I think a lot of parents here can say the same thing, is the best thing that's going to happen is when the first day of school comes and we get them back on a routine. So, and I love my family a lot, so. But a little bit, and I'll finish up here, but a little bit about what I hope to do and accomplish here is I want to be part of this team, and I want to help continue to move this forward, okay? I want to honor the traditions of the past, and we also know that we're living in an ever-changing world, and we're preparing kids for things that we don't even know exist yet, and we want to make sure that we're on the front end of that. And really, it's my desire, and I think we're already on our way there. It's my desire that Lake Mills schools be a blueprint for rural education in Iowa. That everybody can get as good or better of an education here than they can in West Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Waukee, whatever you name it, or right here. And we're well on our way, okay, because of the hard work and the people sitting here. I just said a couple things I want you guys to hold me to and hold me accountable to. This is something that's called the Superintendent's Pledge, and it was like in the first superintendent class we took, we got to write a pledge and submit it and talk about it, and I put this down about things that I would want to do if I was leading a school, and I've kept it here, and it's part of a written entry plan I have and things like that, and I thought, well, maybe it needs to be changed, and maybe it will need to be changed, and I'm up for changing some of it, but I think it holds pretty true. So this is what you guys as staff and community can expect from me, and if I'm not upholding this, I want you to hold me accountable to it. I want you to come say, hey, you stood in front of us and you said you would do these things, and I want to have that conversation with you, and I want to make sure I stay up to this, and if I fall short of it, we'll fix it, okay? But this is what it is here. I'll just read it right out. As a leader of learning, service, and change, and I think that there's very specific order there too. Learning, service, and change. That's what we want to lead learning first, okay? Want to serve second, and believe, I'm here to change things last, okay? But like I said, when I say change, I mean preparing kids for the future is what I say. I don't want to get stuck in, well, because we've always done it this way type thing. But I pledge to be a leader who promote the success of all students and staff by facilitating the implementation and stewardship of the district's mission and vision, advocating for and sustaining a school culture conducive to student learning and staff professional development, ensuring management of the organization to provide a safe, efficient, and effective learning environment, and collaborating with families, community members, and other stakeholders to meet the district's mission and vision. And I'll strive to do this by making data-informed decisions in an ethical manner, acting with integrity and fairness with student success as a goal. So I look forward to meeting you all through this. If at any time, I'm falling short of this, it's okay for you to hold me accountable, okay? I'd prefer it if it happened in, you called me up and we set up a meeting in my office, or I come out to your place instead of a community venue like this, but nonetheless, I want to be held accountable. I want to help keep Lake Mills the great place it is, and I know it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of the people here, and I'm really honored to be here. I'm really looking forward to getting this school year going. I really, really am. Before I wrap up, just a couple thank yous. April, again, thank you for those words. Okay, that you had a message in there for everybody. Thanks for making the trip. Very well put. Cassie, the chamber, and the sponsors, thank you for putting all this together. The businesses that put the centerpieces together. It's just really a nice atmosphere here with everybody. Thank you, everybody, for taking time to be here this morning. Come out and support our teachers and our students. I want to thank the community for the welcome I've received and the support I've got so far. That doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you so much for that. And with that, I think this, can we officially open up the 22-23 school year right now? Okay. One quick impromptu thing for any staff here. Right as this program finishes up, before you get on to your next meetings and things like that, we want to assemble the whole staff in the gym for a quick staff picture. So we'll get in there. It'll be quick and painless, but we want to do that right when we're done here. So we'll get that taken care of. So. Beth Aids Hansen is coming up to represent Lake Mills Education Association. Welcome, Beth.
Of course, I was way in the back corner, so I made my way up here earlier. First of all, I'd like to thank the LMCDC, all of their partners in providing this for us. It's a great day, good way to kick off the year. If you are new to the district, student teacher, new staff member in any capacity, I know there were a couple that were out there that didn't get names, so will you stand up for a minute? Everybody stand up. Stay standing. Okay. All of these people around you, surrounding you today, are your tribe, okay? These are your people. I challenge the tribe out here to support these people. We know that education it's a tough time right now for education. It is our job to encourage these people and surround them with the support that they need to stay here and stay in the profession. All right, if you are a staff member at LMCS, join that group in any capacity as a staff member. Yeah. As an elementary teacher, I know you can't sit that long. Okay, so look around again. This is our tribe, people. These are the people that we get to work with every day. This is our family. Through the good times and the not so good times, they are our people. The rest of you join the group, please. Look around. This is our tribe. There's a lot more people out in our community that will support us through this year. And we know that this is a year that we have great things to look forward to. But this is our tribe. And I thank each and every one of you for being part of my tribe. Have a great year.
All right, so we are going to wrap up here. As Superintendent Rugby pointed out, and I forgot to do earlier, all the centerpieces were made and donated by businesses, and we are going to give them away to employees right now. So I may need some help with drawing. Maybe I'll just walk around and do that. So, and then we will go ahead and get you off to your picture.